Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Monday, July 13th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Hammer Solutions, home of great products such as Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. So glad to have you here this morning. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching the replay, do me a favor, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you are here. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting to you on Facebook and on YouTube. I see that the text alert is starting to hit this morning. So if you want to get a text reminder that I'm going live so you don't miss a moment of the show, sign up at hmmr.io/reminder, hmmr.io/reminder, or use this cool QR code over here. If you're on your phone now, take a screenshot, go back to your photos, press and hold the QR code, and it'll load up that page for you so you could sign up for that. Also, you can sign up and get our free email each morning, email lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com, or use this cool QR code over here. And last but not least, don't forget you can sign up for our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. Those are $7 a month, help you protect your pipeline, stay aware of what's going on each and every weekday morning and afternoon. So anyway, if you're here this morning, say good morning. It's getting to be that kind of age. Let's see here. We got Tim Klyla. Good morning, sir. Carly McLeod. Sean Segaloff, Randy Tickle, Giddy Up, Sir, Vicky McSweeney, Angela Walters, Holly Johnson, Brandy Brickler, Amy Blouser. Good morning, all. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. So welcome to all the live folks. Don't forget, do me a favor, smash that like button. Maybe tag an LO friend if you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Just go ahead and make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you guys are good to go, let's see. Mr. Ron Siegel says today is National Beans in Franks Day. Yeah, seriously, that's what Siegel says. National Beans in Franks Day. So I got to tell you, beans and Franks, love them. They're good. Come on, they're good. They're good. They're nasty, but good. Yeah. You got to have good hot dogs. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but there are good hot dogs. There's nasty, nasty hot dogs like Oscar Mayer, nasty hot dogs. Nathan's or Best's. So there you go. That's going to be the question of the day then, since we got beans and Franks. Question of the day is, do you like beans and Franks? And also, what's your favorite hot dog, brand of hot dog? So let me put that in the question of the day here. What is your favorite brand of hot dog? Let me know in the comments. We got to throw that one on the bottom here. Hold on. So there you go. What is your favorite brand of hot dog? Actually, I like Boar's Head hot dogs because they are really, really good. But if you're going with mainstream, I'd go with like Nathan's or Best's. But you don't see Best's down in the South. They were a northern thing. So Ron Siegel says Hebrew National. Is that the new barn decor? Yeah, I did. I finished the barn over the weekend. No, I'm still in Pittsburgh. I'll be in Pittsburgh through tomorrow. So here you are. You get a lovely background. But anyway, all right. We're 4 minutes in. I guess I better actually get to what I'm supposed to be doing, and let's go ahead and get started to get over the good stuff. So I will leave that up on the question of the day up on the screen for a minute. Let's go ahead and fire this up. All right, so here you go. Quick recap. What happened on Friday? What the heck's Presentify? Here we go. Oh, there it is. All right. So you can take a look on Friday. You could see pricing comes out generally right about here. Bonds drifted down a little bit on the day, lost a couple of basis points, not enough to trigger any reprices worse. It was a little bit of a down move. However, this morning we're definitely much worse off. So quick recap, what happened Friday. Friday was a summer day. Bonds didn't really do much, just drifted a little bit lower on the day. Rate sheets today, though, are definitely slipping a little bit worse. You could see that we are all the way down here right now. And if we look at this trend, you can see it on the Japanese candlestick chart over here. And we can also just see it from the line chart here. We were, what day was this? This was the 7th. So since in about a week, this was the 7th. And now we are down here. So you can see that we have been losing some pretty solid ground over the last week. You can see that here, like I said, again, in the Japanese candlesticks. all of them red and losing ground, putting us in an ugly position. In fact, I'll throw the lock advice up on the screen. We'll come back to the hot dog question, but here's the lock advice up on the screen. Rate sheets today will slip a little bit, so take a look. Again, they've been in the same spot, so this isn't devastating by any means. We were at 6.68. They improved a little bit to end the day, even though we've been in a downward trend. We did pick up a little bit of gain from the on Friday here to pick up, kind of flatten out there, but as we continue to move lower, so you're going to see that we are basically continuing to get worse and likely to continue to do so. Not huge movements, but certainly nothing that's going to improve anything. This morning down 11 basis points on the day. 10-year treasury yield pushing its way up to that 4.6 mark again, 4.59, 4.58, 4.59, 4.59 if we round up this morning. So kind of see where we're at there. Take a look, and reprice risk on the day is low. Not anything we have to worry about for the actual day. But again, with lock advice, consider locking anything that's closing in. Actually, that one's not even. This one is here. Anything closing the next 30 days, I would be locking. I'll throw the screen back on in a minute. We'll go over some headlines, and what we got going on this week. But it's just not a great week for rates. We've got the CPI inflation data tomorrow morning. It's going to come out at 8:30 a.m. before we get morning rate sheets, and it may show some improvement, but we're kind of stuck, because even if it shows improvement, now there's more drama in the Middle East. Iran continuing to be a fly in the ointment. Again, I'm betting you that Trump wishes he didn't open up this can of worms. Why is it so crooked? There you go. That feels crooked. Maybe my head's crooked. I'll go with that. Anyway, I'll bet you he wishes he didn't open up this can of worms. But it just, even if we see some improvement, oil prices have pushed back up. They're still below $80 a barrel, but at the high side, right below $80 a barrel. So gas prices, as you guys have seen, moving back up. When oil jumps from $72 a barrel to $80 a barrel, gas prices also jump up. So we've seen gas prices that are moving back up again. So even if we do see better inflation data, it's not going to hold, because we see all this drama going on in the Middle East. So also tomorrow, we will have the first of 2 days of testimony from new Fed chair. I guess he's not new. Can't keep calling him new every day, but Fed chair Kevin Warsh. And this one is considered to be a little more interesting, because Kevin Warsh does not want to provide forward guidance. The last many years, most of the central banks, especially the Fed, have provided a lot of forward guidance. They are providing insight into what their thinking is, what their actions will likely be, and they've kind of foreshadowed, forecasted, tipped their hand on what their actions would be based on the direction that things were trending. And Kevin Warsh has been clear that he doesn't think that that's the way that it should be, and he's pushing against that. So he has been very, very careful in answering questions, and doesn't provide what he feels is forward guidance. So he's going to be in front of Congress starting tomorrow, but he's got to answer their questions, but he's going to evade a lot of their questions, because he doesn't want to tip their hand, and he doesn't want the Fed to be locked into anything based on what they've said. Now, it's kind of interesting that he's the one that doesn't want the Fed locked in to anything, when he was brought in to lower rates. At least that was the perception, even though, of course, he told Congress that he would be his own man. Everybody, wink, wink, nod, nod, they didn't think that he was legit on that. Trump was very clear that he wanted somebody that was going to lower rates, and Kevin Warsh was considered to be, Trump's guy, and kind of, I don't want to say a puppet, but yet, now that we have this current economy and what's going on in the Middle East and oil prices and everything else, inflation continues to be a big problem. And the idea is that the Fed would need to unwind the Fed rate cuts from last year, and have Fed rate hikes. And the question is that he was tipping, he was supposed to be the one to lower rates. So will he be the one to raise rates? And is he locked in? So that's kind of an interesting take on all that. But let me share my screen. We'll go over a couple of the things going on right now and what effect it might have on rates and why. And then we'll wrap this up because we're already at 10:42 this morning. So taking a look this morning, like I said, you've got mortgage-backed securities down 12 basis points. Rate sheets are going to be a bit worse. You've got all of this going on over in the Middle East. A lot of Middle East articles and headlines. Iran escalates attacks. I hate ads. Come on, get rid of that. Iran escalates attacks across the Gulf after more U.S. strikes. U.S. and Iranian forces exchanged heavy missile and drone assaults with Tehran targeting U.S. assets in 6 countries, saying it had again closed the Strait of Hormuz. And this is kind of a big thing. So Iran doesn't have the capacity to attack the U.S. or the nerve to attack the U.S. directly, but they do continue targeting the other countries around them, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, the UAE, all that stuff here. So they're saying that they closed the Strait of Hormuz. Trump says the U.S. will be the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. This is a newer. Oh, so now you got to pay. All right. Well, I'm already subscribed, but I was on the free. Give me a minute. Let's see if we can't get this article to come up. Okay. All right. So Iran's guards say they targeted U.S. facilities. U.S. says it hit air defenses and coastal radars, small boats. Trump says the U.S. will be the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices continue to rise. So, this is the part that I'm curious on. After Iran's announcement Strait's closure over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday that the United States would probably, you got to love the commitment here, probably take over the waterway and should be reimbursed for controlling the vital shipping route. So he was against the Iranians being reimbursed, but he feels that the U.S. should be reimbursed. And I guess the argument being if we are putting military there to keep it open. But this is all a big mess. So we have to watch and see how this affects oil prices and where oil prices go from here, because that's going to have a big effect on where rates end up. Right now, if we take a look here, Brent crude still, like I said, right below $80 a barrel, 78.54. Hopefully it stays that way. You can see down here, if we do, let's just do a 6-month chart, a little clearer. All right. So you can see through most of the conflict how high oil prices were. Right now, even at $78, still considered lower than where we were at, not too far above where we were beforehand, which was in the high 60s, low 70s here. So we have to watch that and see where oil continues to be, because that's going to be a big part of this. And if oil continues to rise because of the drama with Iran. But right now, as long as we see this, that's kind of okay. But even still, I've got us in a position just consider locking, because tomorrow we're going to have the CPI inflation data. Then we've got Kevin Warsh, who will be speaking at 10 a.m. in front of Congress this week. Here we go. So we've got CPI data coming out in the morning. Then we've got Warsh's testimony. He'll have some prepared remarks that we'll see an initial reaction to, generally right around 9:30, 9:45. They release them a little bit early, and so we'll probably see some reaction to that as well. And then Wednesday will be a repeat of what we've seen on Tuesday, except for he'll be in front of the House instead of, I think he starts out, and I forget if he starts out in the House or in the Senate, but he'll be in the other arm. And then retail sales data on Thursday is the other big thing. We got consumer sentiment data on Friday. We'll see where this goes, but could be some worsening this week. We could see rates worsen this week based on this direction of where all of this is. Keeping an eye here. It won't be brutally bad, but it'll continue to see them kind of move higher is what we are likely to see. So that said, let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Let's put up the question of the day. We'll find out what are y'all. Today is National Franks and Beans Day, according to Mr. Ron Siegel. So today, let's find out what is your favorite brand of hot dog. I'll go back to the beginning and see what kind of comments we got in here. Siegel said, oh, wait, where is his... Love Monday mornings with this conflict going on. Yeah, well, this is going to be a perpetual thing, is what this looks like. So Ron Siegel favors Hebrew National the scene about something about Mary stuck in your head. Yeah. Let's see. Hot dogs. Pearl hot dogs. Boston all beef. Nathan's or Hebrew National. Mike also loves Hebrew National. I like Boar's Head. I'll have to try Hebrew National. I haven't seen those. Bratwursts. Thinking outside the box. Other OPEC countries will reimburse for safe passage. Yeah, I know. He's always saying everything. We're also still putting in the whatchamacallit, the hotels over in the Gaza Strip. Nathan's Kogel hot dogs. Never heard of those ones. Kogel. So, all right, my friends. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see if anything's changed. We'll be going over the CPI inflation data. We'll see what effect that had on rates. Again, for now, my suggestion, just because of wanting to make sure we protect our pipeline, not knowing where things are going to go, not likely to see much improvement, even if inflation comes in slightly better tomorrow. The question now is, will we see renewed oil prices going up based on the current stuff? So I would lock anything closing in the next 30 days just for protection. There's not a lot of reason to float and hope. And that's where we're at. All right. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.